Welcome to my channel, my respected friends and viewers. I know many of you, like me, have sometimes visited a beach to observe sunshine. Ever wonder what is the source of the power that is lightening it so sustainably, even after millions of years? It is brightening not our Earth, rather also the planets in the solar system and may go on for millions of years? The answer is fusion. It is the same process that powers every star in the sky. It's clean, it's powerful, and it's the future of energy. Fusion at the crossroad, Australia's nuclear choice. Now, here is the multi billion-dollar question. Australia is at a crossroads. We are about to invest a historic $368 billion in defense strategy based on that older fission technology, while simultaneously the world's leading nations are racing to master fusion, a technology that isn't even banned in Australia. So, why aren't we talking about it? Why are we betting our national security on the tech of the past while ignoring our chance to lead in the energy source of the future? Today, we are breaking down exactly what fusion is, why it matters, and the huge opportunity Australia is currently missing. But let's first understand the basics. What is fusion and fission? Nuclear fission. It is splitting of heavy atomic nucleus, uranium 235 and plutonium 239. Processes neutron hits the nucleus splits into smaller nuclei plus neutrons and also simultaneously generate energy. Energy source, nuclear power plants, and weapons. Long lived radioactive waste is the byproduct. So, for instance, the formula goes uranium 235 plus neutron gives us barium 141 plus krypton 92 plus 3 nuclei, which generates also the energy. So, nuclear fission is the splitting of heavy elements such as uranium 235 or plutonium 239. When a neutron collides with the nucleus, it becomes unstable and splits into smaller nuclei like barium and krypton, releasing three neutrons and a lot of energy. Those extra neutrons drive a chain reaction, which is why fission is so powerful. It's been a backbone of the nuclear power plants and weapons for decades. The downside is radioactive waste, which remains dangerous for thousands of years and creates storage and safety challenges. This legacy of risk and waste explains why fission, while effective, is seen as old nuclear technology and why countries like Australia have banned on nuclear power generation. So, what is nuclear fusion? So, definition goes joining of light atomic nuclei such as deuterium and tritium um, into what is the energy generation process. And process goes extreme heat pressure overcomes repulsion, leading to nuclei fuse, leading to helium and energy. Energy source power suns and stars in the universe. Byproducts minimal, short-lived waste. So example goes as deuterium plus tritium, giving us helium 4 plus neutron plus energy. Fusion is the opposite of fission. It involves combining two light hydrogen isotopes, deuterium and tritium, under enormous heat and pressure. When they fuse, they form helium, release a neutron, and produce a huge burst of energy. This is the same process that powers our sun and all stars. Fusion has enormous potential because it produces almost no long lived radioactive wastes like fission and making it much cleaner than the fission. While it's been achieved in experiments, sustaining it on Earth is extremely challenging due to the extreme temperatures required. Still, its safety profile and clean output makes fusion the true next frontier of nuclear energy. So, formulas explained. Um, it's in front of you, uranium 235. It absorbs a neutron and splits into barium and krypton and throws off three more neutrons that sustain a chain reaction plus a large amount of energy. In fusion, deuterium and tritium combine to make helium and a neutron, releasing energy far greater per unit of fuel than fission. What matters here is that fusion fuel is abundant and clean, while fission produces dangerous long lived byproducts. These formulas are shorthands for two fundamentally different pathways, splitting the big atoms versus fusing the small ones. Key differences. This table sets the comparisons clearly. Fission splits heavy elements while fusion combines ones. Light ones. Fission relies on uranium or plutonium, which are limited, while fusion uses hydrogen isotopes, which are abundant in seawater. In terms of energy, fusion produces even more than fission per reaction. The waste picture is very different. Fission leaves behind radioactives, byproducts that last for thousands of years, while fusion byproducts are short lived and easier to manage. Today, fission is widely used in power plants and weapons, while fusion is still experimental. Finally, safety. Fission carries meltdown and waste risks, whereas fusion is inherently safer but much harder to achieve in practice. Current use of fusion powers the sun and stars, gravity plus millions of degrees of centigrade, leading to hydrogen nuclear fuse. Fusion already works every second in sun, which is essentially a giant fusion reactor held together by gravity. On Earth, however, we lack that natural pressure, so we need much higher temperatures, over 100 million degrees Celsius. Current experiments like ITER in France, JET in United Kingdom, and NIF in the United States are global leaders in this space. They have demonstrated fusion reactions for short bursts, but not yet in a way that produces net energy sustainably. So today, fusion is real, but still in the laboratory phase. The potential, however, remains enormous. So, why fusion is hard on Earth? As I mentioned, temperature can reach between 100 and 150 million degrees Celsius requirement. Fusion is technically difficult because the conditions are extreme. To make atom fuse, we need temperatures over 100 million degrees, hotter than the sun's core. At that heat, matters exists as plasma, which cannot touch any solid surface. It would melt instantly. Containing plasma requires powerful magnetic fields or laser compressions. Another hurdle is the energy balance. Right now, the power needed to sustain plasma is greater than the energy released by fusion. Though this gap is closing, finally, plasma is unstable. It can collapse from small disturbances. These obstacles explains why fusion is so promising yet so elusive on Earth. So, safety steps in fusion reactors. Um, Fusion reactors are designed with multiple safety measures. Magnetic confinement reactors like ITER use huge magnets to trap plasma in a donut shaped chamber, while a laser fusion systems like NIF use intense lasers to compress tiny fuel pellets. Fusion occurs inside vacuum chambers, so if anything falls, the plasma cools instantly and the process stops. Only milligrams of fuel are used at once, so there is no risk of a runaway chain reactions like in fission. Neutron radiation is managed with thick shielding, and robotic systems handle any maintenance of activated components. These safeguards mean fusion is much safer than fission. Are these safety steps working? No major accidents in decades of research so far. Plasma collapse safely if unstable. So, fusion's safety record is excellent. Across decades of experiments, there have been no major accidents. If something goes wrong, the plasma simply collapses and the reaction ends. This makes fusion inherently safe compared to fission. The real obstacle is efficiency, getting more energy out than what we put in. In 2022, the United States National Ignition Facility achieved a milestone, a brief fusion reaction that produced more energy than the input from lasers. Though only for a fraction of a second, while that's not commercial yet, it's an important proof of concept. Fusion research is progressing step by step towards viable energy source. So bottom line is that fusion powers the star safer and cleaner than fission. Still experimental on Earth. However, the main challenge is um, to sustain net energy over a longer period. Potential to reshape energy forever. The bottom line is the fusion is real. It powers the stars and can be achieved experimentally on Earth. Compared to fission, it offers much greater safety and cleaner byproducts. The challenge is not whether fusion works, but whether we can make it produce sustained net energy in a controlled, economical way. If we succeed, fusion could transform our entire energy landscape, providing virtually limitless clean power without the waste and risks of fissions. That's why the conversation isn't just about today's nuclear choices, but about what path we choose for the future. So, fusion at the crossroad, public and strategic view. AUKUS submarines use old fission technology. Global shifts is towards fusion. We have already seen France, United States, and United Kingdom are already strategizing it. Australia has banned fission, but fusion is not restricted. Fusion is equals clean energy plus strategic enabler, defense enabler, in other words, or further things that can be done, such as artificial intelligence data centers, desalination, advanced manufacturing, propulsion can be even used in the space programs. One of our viewers captured this crossroad very powerfully, and I appreciate his contribution, which led me towards this vlog. He noted that while Australia invests in AUKUS submarines using old fission propulsion, the world is embedding fusion into national strategies. Fusion is more than energy, it can power AI data centers, desalination, advanced manufacturing, and even future propulsion for space and maritime defense. Unlike fission, fusion is not banned in Australia, giving us a unique policy opening. His point is that collaboration, not endless debate, should be our path, linking climate, energy, and defense goals. It reframes fusion not just as a clean energy dream, but as a sovereign technology opportunity for Australia. The United States and United Kingdom are not just our AUKUS partners, they are our future competitors as well in global fusion race. They are embedding it into their national strategies, but we are not. Will we be a consumer of this technology, buying it from overseas in 20 to 30 years, or will we be a producer and exporter? The decisions starts now. I've created a table, comparative table, fission versus fusion, to just give an idea to the viewers how the things differ between these two processes. Basic processes in the nuclear fission is splitting heavy nuclei, whereas in fusion, it combines the two, fusing light nuclei. Current use, it is being used in power plants, whereas fusion is still at experimental stage. Energy yield per reactions up to 200 MeV high but lower per unit mass of fuel compared to approximately 17 mass of fuel MeV per reaction, but much higher per unit mass. Fusion fuel is far more energy dense. Fuel source, the fission is uranium plutonium, which has a limited and requires a lot of mining and enrichment. Compared to it in fusion, hydrogen isotopes are abundantly available in water and lithium reserves. Radioactive waste remains hazardous for thousands of years, requires geological storage, whereas in fusion, radioactive material waste decay in decades rather than millennia. Greenhouse emission very low during operation in both the case fission and fusion. Continuing safety risks of meltdown like we have experienced Chernobyl and Fukushima, and potential weaponization of fissile material. Whereas in fusion, there is no chain reaction, no meltdown risk. Cost of building between 5 to 15 billion per large nuclear plant, whereas ITER experimental fusion reactor costed around 25 to 30 billion. But remember, this cost is one is being set up and the other one is in process. So once this cycle is approved, the cost, like what it costed to ITER, would not be the one that the commercial uh, usage would be for the fusion once it is made uh, regular operational production. Operating costs, high fuel cycle, waste management, decommissioning. As far as fission is concerned, compared to nuclear fusion, which is expected moderate but currently unknown as we haven't started its operation yet. Commercial viability, mature technology is fission, but declining due to safety, waste, and cost concerns in many regions of the world. 20 in the case of fusion, 20 to 25 years from commercial deployment. By 2040s it is forecasted to be in operations. um, Fingers crossed. Global status: 400 plus reactors are currently operating in nuclear fission, whereas in fusion, ITER aims for plasma tests in 2030s. Australia's path forward: collaborate, link defense, energy, and climate policies, combine them, and make uh, uh, allocate resources from all the three sides to make a pathway or move towards this direction. Invest in sovereign fusion research and development. Debate: should AUKUS include a pillar for future tech like fusion? So, to recap, fusion is fundamentally different from fission. It's safer, it produces minimal waste, and it's phenomenally powerful. The challenge on Earth is immense, but the global race is on, led by our own AUKUS partners, along with France for sure. Australia's strategic head start is that fusion is not banned. There is no legal barrier. The only thing holding us back is the lack of vision and a failure to connect the dots between our climate goals, our defense needs, and our economic future. This isn't just about energy, it's about sovereignty. It's about whether we want to be a consumer of technology in the future or a producer, a follower, or a leader. So, choice is us. The conversation starts now. I want to know what you think. Should Australia pursue a national fusion strategy? Should Australia pursue a national fusion strategy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get this debate started. Thank you for watching. Don't just wait for future to unfold itself. Let's talk about how to build it. Thank you for watching.